thanks for telling us about the mill and Oxford Taphouse. Obviously lots of lessons learned there. Tell me about the new bar that you've just opened up recently.
So I've gone north side.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We won't hold that against you. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. I don't live there yet, but may have to emigrate. We've opened a little, well, not so little actually. It's kind of become a little bit of a beast and grown already. So opened a bar in Mitchelton on the north side called The Woods. It's on Blackwood Street. You may see a theme with the name of my bars. They're not super original. The mill was an old mill. The Oxford Taphouse is a bar on Oxford Street that has taps, and this one is on Blackwood Street, and we've called it The Woods. So
people can find those places
easily.
I
know. I wish I had more inspiration sometimes, but I can never quite think about it. I got too many other things on in my head. So this one came about maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. We had actually looked at the site where we've actually ended up opening. So a friend of mine that I used to work with lives over that way in Gaythorne and has literally been at me for about 5 years, pretty much since we opened Taphouse. And she came and saw it and she was like, I want one of these where I live. And I was just like, I'm pretty busy.
I'll do it.
But, I'll see what I can do. And at one point, when I decided I really didn't have much on my plate, I don't know what I was thinking that day. Like I said, I went and I looked and I found a little spot and I was like, I could do something with this. And I think that's, I guess, the handy part about me and my partner, Jer, is like we kind of have, like he's got all the skills and I've got some vision of what it could be at the end. Because sometimes it's hard to look at those spaces, but I guess I'm always confident that he can do something really great with them. So we looked at that, like I said, maybe about 2 years ago, maybe 3. But then things just sort of picked up again at the mill we did a lot of functions and that type of stuff, and I was quite heavily involved with Brews Vegas for a few years, organising the beer festival and stuff like that. So time just slipped away and we kind of looked at it and then someone else took it and we just didn't get it fast enough. And I didn't really think about it again. I decided at that point I really did have enough on my plate. Then when the mill was shutting, I don't know if it's fate or whatever it is, and I looked on real estate and there was the exact same tenancy that I looked at a couple of years ago, and I was just like, right, that's,
done.
That's plan
Sounds
B.
like you just make decisions.
I'm like this.
I pontificate on things probably way more than I should.
I should, but I don't.
It's a good thing.
We went out and we looked at it, and it was nothing. Like it was probably the least of what we've looked at. It was no pretty building. It didn't have like beautiful trees outside, but it was a great location. It's right in the hub of Blackwood Street, which is it's a small little street, but it's got lots of little cafes. It's a nice little community area, and it's really, really lacking, I guess, anything different over there. There's like your RSLs and your sort of big pubs and stuff like that, but other than the Ploughman, which is probably the closest to Alderley, there isn't really any craft offerings there. So we were kind of like, yep, I think we could do something here, and I think it will have the nice feel that we have at the Taphouse, that sort of like neighborhood bar. So that was kind of what we went about trying to create. I guess it's a fairly good mash of both, because I've kind of kept that beerier side that maybe the mill had over there, and tried to bring some of our mill customers over for bigger events and that type of thing. It started off, it was going to be like a little, maybe 80 seats, something like that, probably not even that on the original version. And then we lucked in, maybe it's good karma from having a bad landlord. We have a really good landlord over there and a really nice neighbour, and there was a lane at the side that wasn't being used, and I kind of like approached him to get it licensed for some events, and it just sort of spiraled from there. He was a real nice guy, and he was all like, oh, it makes sense, you guys use it all the time. And
that's great.
Within a matter of a day or two, we had doubled the space. I try and keep things small. I'm really not that good at it. So we doubled the space, and our landlord, thought the rent was going to double, and he was like, nope, that's fine. It was already there. So didn't charge me any extra. And I was just like,
that's unheard of.
Yeah, literally. I was like,
something wrong about this.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, oh no, what's happening here?
Take the win, yeah. So good.
He's a local real estate agent over there, so I think he thinks my bar is helping him sell houses.
Right.
So that started, and we expanded. And look, I'm so glad we did, because right from the get-go, it was crazy. And I'm not just I'm not just saying it like we're great or something, but if we hadn't brought the team from the mill and if we hadn't all been working together, we would have been smashed and we would have been slated because it was so crying out for it that we had no idea.
Right.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like just the response in the beginning. I felt like Santa. Every time someone came in, they were like, "Thanks so much for opening a bar," and I was just like, "You're welcome." $54. I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. Like, which is it's great. And like I've in true Gill form, I've just expanded again. So our landlord was like, you can take more of the car park. So we made it bigger and we put another little container bar at the back because we just couldn't sort of keep up with the demand. And then there was a fire next door.
Wow.
In the laundromat, and the guys decided they didn't want to move back in. So we are in the process just now of kind of doubling again. So I'm sure there's people listening here going like, you aren't even open 6 months. What the hell are you doing?
And you're about to gut a laundromat and put some more taps in.
Yeah, and just add another 90 seats. But it's kind of one of those things. Either you do it or you don't. Like, and if we don't take it now, the chances are somebody else will lease it and it'll be 5 years before it's available again. So look, in an ideal world, I'd like to have been trading for a year and a half and have a really good idea and, sound business knowledge of what it is out there. But I've got the gut feel that it's good and that I enjoy it and I can bring something good to the neighborhood. So you just got to go with that and just hope for the best.
And you've got the other venue here. You've had another venue previously. It's not like you're going straight in with no conception of what's actually going to happen.
No, that's it. And I guess like I've got a good understanding of like where the beer scene is just now, which I think is changing. Like it's definitely changing. And to be honest, probably even my thoughts on it are changing and what I want to sell is beginning to change as well. I've always been lucky enough, I guess, that the tap house is primarily focused like Australian beer. Like we occasionally have a few international things there, but our thing there is supporting local and, keeping it that type of thing. At the mill, it was always about the new and the best and the crazy and the getting it before somebody else had it and, arm wrestling to win the keg and all that type of thing. And as much as I love that, I almost feel like that time is passing. And I think that's a testament to how much the beer scene in Australia and in Brisbane has just grown, because you used to feel like you had to go elsewhere. You had to go international. You had to chase down the American breweries. You had to fight to get the stuff from Sweden. Like that used to be, to get the best stuff, you felt like you had to do that. But I think that's definitely changing. I think the other thing that's probably changing for me, and I guess it's not lack of passion for the beer or, still getting those things. Like, I'm not going to lie, we got a keg of Omnipolo brown chocolate ice cream the other day, and it was so exciting to put it on tap and it go in like 5 hours. You're like, oh yeah, and everyone's loving it. But like the world's changing, and like, can we really justify continually, freighting stuff over and spending that money? And I guess like this year, I kind of want to look at things like a little bit differently. And like I said, this scene in Australia has grown again, and I think you can still be like a top-notch beer bar and just support more local stuff. And even some more sustainable venues, like breweries. Like, there's guys out there that are, trying to take steps to like reduce water and solar power and all those types of things. So as much as like you're driven by the new and the best and, the most hyped, I think it's certainly in my mind, and that's how I, dictate what goes on the taps is they're the things that I'm beginning to think about a little bit more. So I feel like the Woods is like an evolution of what I'm drinking and what I'm thinking about and how I make choices on stuff. And, I'm not saying that I'm going to suddenly go and drop everything international and, beer miles, which I know is one of the things that the venue that Jimmy used to manage in the Valley was a really good focus. But I definitely think it's coming into play and how we can make our decisions. And if you're a neighborhood bar, like how you can be part of, doing the right thing. So that's definitely going to be a focus that wasn't something that's been on my agenda, I guess, for business. So yeah, it's something new and exciting, sort of leading us to look at new things, which maybe that's just what's wrong with me. I always want something different to work on. So, we're looking over there at now we've got the whole tenancy getting solar panels on the roof so we can try and, eliminate all of our electricity uses. And, just looking at those types of things and trying to make smart decisions where we can. And I think that will become, we'll try and trickle that through everything. So not just consumables, but like the products that you're selling. I think there's a change coming. And it's like, I think we can all feel it. And it's just like working out what those steps are, where it changes. But like I say, part of that is venues and breweries like Revel. I mean, the range that we have here and the standard and the quality, and it just wasn't here like 4 or 5 years ago. So you were looking for it elsewhere. And now I think we can all sort of be like, well, we're all fairly confident that that's available in, definitely in Australia and definitely in Brisbane.
Just what Gill's saying, that's quite interesting on a couple of fronts. The beer mileage thing, I think, is quite huge. I sort of look at that myself, making beer.
Yeah.
As she was saying, 4 or 5 years ago, we're shipping beer from America, from England, from Europe. And it comes over here, and by the time we get it, it's not necessarily in the best condition. And now, as the craft scene evolves, the consumer's becoming a lot more aware of that as well.
Yeah.
So definitely the freshness is huge, particularly with hoppy beers. They need to be drunk within 4 to 6 weeks. So if we're shipping a beer from America, it might not get here till it's already 2 or 3 months old. Yeah. So while we've shipped it halfway across the world, basically you're shipping a big chunk of water and packaging material. The beer itself, the end product, isn't actually that good. So really you're looking at just buying a brand rather than what the product is. If you gave it to someone in a glass like that without Stone or Sierra Nevada or something on it, not to shoot those breweries down because they're awesome, but
awesome at the source. Like, that's right. It. Yeah.
So that's huge. And then also with making beer, where possible, I try and use Australian and New Zealand ingredients. Nearly predominantly all Australian and New Zealand malt, and also a large chunk of hops from Australia and New Zealand as well, rather than where you have to, with making some beers, get hops and stuff from America. Yeah. But definitely trying to reduce how far you're bringing stuff from across the world. I think that's becoming more and more of a thing.
Yeah, I think it's just on everybody's radar. And like touching on what you said about the beer thing as well is like that level of like people's expectations. So now when you bring over those beers, if you get something from Cloudwater or, Stone, like guys are saying, there used to be that bigger disparity in the taste, or else you're going the other way where there is now distributors who are air freighting and they're bringing it over. But it's even more like it's an even bigger cost. And you're getting these products in, but is it really worth it? And I feel like maybe I'm just getting old and I'm just like, I'm not trying to take the fun out of it because that was exciting. And, I was part of that hype in the mill. Like, don't get me wrong, I was air freighting and getting the stuff and, part of it. But I think looking now, and you just got to think a bit smarter. Maybe it's just how everything is. So I think that's definitely going to shape the woods, and I'd like that to be sort of part of its identity. Like, so that, like each of them have their own little thing, like, that's it's special to them. But I feel like that's the right place for that to become to the forefront.
It sounds like you've got a great opportunity there to educate that community. Yeah. Like it sounds like they've been screaming out for it, obviously.
And they're so on board.
Yeah, but that to me, that just sounds like it presents so much opportunity for those people that are already exposed to the craft scene by all the great bars around. Yeah. Like for instance, I've got a friend that just moved over to I think Northgate, and that's his first thing is like, where am I going to go and go to these breweries? I think there's only one that's sort of within stone's throw of where he is. Actually might be a bit Banya, I think it is. He's gone a bit further. So that's like he's moved to this suburb. He's like, where am I going? Sort of thing. And then you've got those other people that are actually, they don't really know about it because there isn't something just down the road.
No, that's it. And like we definitely get people over there. I'm really lucky that we've got a really. Some of it was actually like, it's a word I hate, but humbling. Like when we first opened the Woods and people rocked up, and I was kind of like, oh my God, guys, can't believe you are here. Like people that would come to the mill, say regularly, and I was like, oh God, I can't believe you guys are here. And they were like, oh yeah, we don't live that far, and we're so excited that you guys were here. And I was like, why were you guys at the mill so often? And like I was just like, and then I realized that they'd been traveling to come and get that, and now they could have it closer. And I was just like, oh, this is great. And so we were lucky in that way that I guess like valley venue like that, you don't realize how many of your customers live elsewhere. So you get those ones or all those sort of beery guys who have been sitting in all those suburbs, hanging out for somewhere to come. And then you just get all the people that are just happy to have a venue and have the thing that they have here at Blimba where they walk in and you'd be like, hey, Steve, how are you going?
Yeah.
Another pint of ginger beer?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's also just from like obviously exploring the nightlife myself around here over the years, it's like, it used to just be city, valley, nothing else. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like nothing else in between.
Suburbs is where it's at.
Yeah. So, no, it's great.
And it's fun. And, it's so nice when, like, you can, like, we've had people and, like, they're, like, meet up already. Like, they're like, oh, we'll meet on a Thursday night. And it's like, we're only open 6 months and they feel like it's their place. Yeah. Like, and that's really nice. So yeah, we'll just let that run, see where it ends up. Thankfully, there's no more space I can take once I finish this one.
You might take the whole Brookside shopping centre.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's good. It's nice to have the opportunity to do something different as well and like to bring a new little focus into a new venue.